So yeah, Assalamu alaikum everyone. Hope you're well, inshallah. Good morning, and thank you so much for joining me this morning for the graphic design workshop with myself, Jauhar Kazmi. And a huge thanks to Brother Misam Raza from Majlis Ulema Shia Europe for helping organize this. And thanks to you all for registering and being here today. And inshallah, you can all benefit from this workshop. So actually, before I begin, in case you missed it, we sent you all an email regarding some of the apps that you should be downloading. So I will email you all the links of all the apps that we'll be using in this workshop today, and we'll be using. And so please go ahead and download them if you haven't already, or if you haven't signed up for Adobe Sparks or Adobe in general. And please do that whilst I do the introduction. And thank you to those who already have done so. Let me just check the chat quickly. Yeah, the workshop is recorded, if anyone's wondering, so you can all view this later on, inshallah. Anyway, so just some quick house rules before I begin, actually. So what I want you all to do is please turn off your video, as this is recorded, unless you want your video to be on there. That's perfectly fine. And everyone mute your microphones unless it's your turn to speak, and raise your hand if you have any questions, basically. Just feel free to stop me at any time if you have any questions, or if I talk too fast, which I do quite a lot, actually. So yeah, just feel free to ask me any urgent questions. Otherwise, we'll have like a question and answer at the end. But like, I know you're wondering also, Zoom, if you can have it open on a separate device and have, all the apps open on your phone, if you can, that'd be great, please. Because this is an interactive workshop and I'll mainly be using Adobe Sparks and all the other apps I emailed you on my phone. So if you can do that now, just to avoid any problems later on, just have Zoom open on a different device or on your laptop and have the other apps on a different one. And yeah, so it'll just be a lot smoother. Anyways, let's move on. There we go. So just quickly about me. I'm 23 and I'm currently doing my master's in MSc Pharmaceutics at UCL. And prior to that, I did my undergrad at Surrey, where I was part of the Ahlul Bayt Society, which went on to win the Absec of the Year that year. So I was the social media officer that year. And so that's where my graphic design really began, to be honest, just like around 2 years ago. I just started playing around, making meet and greet posters. And yeah, I just do some drawing in my spare time as well. So I guess that somewhat helped my interest. And so far I've done like content creation for Surrey Ahlul Bayt Society, some for UCL Ahlul Bayt Society, only some. Most of it is done by the extremely talented, mashallah, Gauthar, who was the social media officer. So you should all head to UCL Absoc Insta page just to check out her work. And yeah, so I also currently do graphics for Ustad Saeed Jalal Masumi. So if you head over to his Insta page, a lot of the posters and stuff, they're done by me. And so yeah, let's just go over the schedule of the workshop today, what we're going to do, and what type of things I'll be talking about. So first, we'll go through the theory and look at some common mistakes in graphic design that people usually make. So beginners' mistakes, which I did myself actually. And we'll take a look at some examples, and evaluate what's good, what's bad, and how we can improve on them. And also, we'll do some more hands-on stuff in Adobe Sparks later on, where you'll be making the posters alongside me. I'll be doing it step by step, just so you all know, all the different features that are available. So inshallah, in the future, if you want to create something similar yourself, you know where to go. And so today I have a few different type of posters to go through today, as I have a bit of a diverse audience with me today. There's people from AppsHog, there's people that are really young. I'm guessing some of you are still in school. And the majority of you said that you wanted to do posters in a little form. So our main focus will be on that today. And just to emphasize again, this is a beginner's workshop. So, you may feel like you already know some of it, but again, this is for people who have zero experience mainly in graphic design. So we'll also do a bit infographics and logos. But again, the main focus will be posters. So just to start off, why I think this is important anyways. I feel like in a day and age where people are, quickly scrolling down their feeds, and you want something to be eye-catching and easy to read, especially if you're a business or a brand, or if you're just a social media creator, you want something to be simple to read. It gets the main message across instead of just filling loads of text that you think is important, but it's just unnecessary stuff. So just to quickly move on to the common mistakes. To be honest, a lot of them are pretty self-explanatory, but they're still very, very important. Also, one more time, could I please ask everyone to turn off the video, if you don't mind? Yeah, so one of the common mistakes is that sometimes people can make things too wordy. I know this is really wordy, but it's a presentation, not a poster. But yeah, so sometimes people can use too much text in their design, and you want to stick to the visual cues and essential elements, and that kind of the user can then focus on what you're trying to show instead of just so much text sometimes. And the other thing is that having way too much text, again, having more than 50 to 60 characters per line. And this, it leads to poor readability. What you want is people to have focus on your main text and some small subheadings, but everything else is just irrelevant. The main thing people's eyes go to is the main title page. Oh, sorry, the title font. And so yeah, it doesn't really look professional in my opinion. So if you want to do a variation, do a variation of the font, such as making it italics or bold. Oh, sorry, that's a different point. That's not sticking to those families. But yeah, keep your paragraphs very, very short. Think of it as like the size of 2 to 3 tweets combined together. And moving on to the next part, so not sticking to like 2 to 3 font families. By font family, I just mean that's your font. The family is just like a more professional term to use, I guess. So, sometimes there's so many fonts available at your disposal and they don't really correlate with each other. So, you do like an italics font, you do a bold font, you do all of that. You may think it looks cool, but it's actually, it's quite distracting and it doesn't actually get the message across and it doesn't look professional again. So what you can do is either make, choose the same font and make it either bold or italic. So like I've done here, it's the same font, but just because I've done different variation of it, it's still somewhat consistent. And so moving on to the next point is not choosing the right colors. This is one of the most important things. And in the next example, I'll show you in the bad example, you'll see why color is so important because, it's human eyes. We want something satisfying to look at, something that's symmetrical, something that has nice colors. And colors also, elicit emotion as well. So it plays a huge emotion. So you have to consider it before you start your design. And this is a problem, especially with beginners, as you have so many colors at your disposal. You can change the color of your font, color of your background, all of that. So it's very easy to mismatch everything. So the basic principle in terms of color that you should follow is use complementary colors that improve the readability of your content, and they grab the viewer's eye. So let's say for this, for example, I've tried to make sure I've used a dark text on a light background, or you can do vice versa, just so there's like a bit of a contrast between them. And it just makes it look a bit more professional and creates a balance in your design. And so the next part is the lack of negative spaces. As you can see in this slide, for example, there's like all of that on the right hand side. It's just negative space. It's not there, and you don't have to fill it, which is perfectly fine. A lot of the times you may think, I'm missing so much. I can include so much information. You shouldn't have to. Just make sure you only have essential stuff, and keep it in one side of the poster, or just have loads of space to breathe, because it can just get too much when you're trying to read something, and it looks a bit boring as well, not gonna lie, if it's too much. What's the next one? So yeah, so we've covered the lack of negative spaces. You shouldn't just fill up spaces just for the sake of filling out. Improve readability, draw the reader's eye to the main point. That's it. And so the next point is the placing the elements randomly. So elements would include, either your text, your title, your heading, or it could just be the logos, or any illustration, any drawings that you include in your work. So you need some direction and alignment for a good balance. You shouldn't just place them randomly. Let's say, for example, if I was to place common mistakes like I have there, I wouldn't just put too wordy on the other end. I want to align and put it perfectly right there. Okay, hope that makes sense. And the next part is failure to create contrast. This goes back to the use of colors. Again, the colors just come up quite a lot. That's a very important thing that you need to consider. Again, which I'll show you an example. So the problem with this is, as a principle, you want to use light text over dark background and vice versa, and use colors of contrasting shades and levels of saturation. And by saturation, I mean like the intensity of the color. So for example, if I use a black background, I wouldn't use, I wouldn't use like a shocking pink or like a very bright red over it. Even though there's a contrast between them, it just clashes too much and the colors are too intense. So you should scale them down a little bit, which I'll show you how to do later on, inshallah. And not scaling properly. One of the common mistakes that people make is that they keep everything the same size. So just as an example here as well, I made the title really big and all the other text really small, because I want the title to stick out. Everything else is just secondary. Okay. So the next part is, so we've done scaling properly. Now the inappropriate font combinations. This is another thing. It's a mistake I made as well. You get carried away with so many fonts available at your disposal. And, the font type doesn't actually really correlate with the image. And you should try to use the image, which should drive the font, and they should be perfect in harmony, essentially. So when you're selecting font, think about the message you're trying to achieve. Let's say if it's for a majalis, it's for a martyrdom of an Imam alayhi salam. So you try to use somewhat dark colors instead of just, using happy colors. It's just, yeah, hopefully that makes sense. And last one is, okay, moving on to some more common mistakes, is using inadequate space between lines. So if you were to, let's say, in this example, if you were to have, look at the space between the bullet points. If I was to have those bullet points really close together and then the next one like really far apart, there's no consistency, it's just, they should all have a purpose. So I've separated the title from the actual bullet points, and that actually serves a purpose, just to separate the title and the main body of text. So, it allows the reader to break and, process the information really well. And it helps the readability, again, of your text. And also, actually, before I move on to the next part, I want to talk about the color wheel as well. So you should all check out this video that I found. We won't have time to go over it today because I'll keep the workshop as short as possible for you guys. So it's called Beginning Graphic Design and Color. So it just talks about using complementary colors, using happy colors, dark colors, and that will actually, transform your design and take it to the next level, essentially. And what's nicer to read, and what you should do, what you shouldn't do. It's just basic, use of colors. Next is using raster images. I will, not the raster you're thinking of, but raster just means like low quality pixelated images. Yeah. Sorry, could I just point out, please all mute your microphones. This is being recorded, so yeah. So using raster images, I will explain this shortly. So by that I mean, so there's different file formats or image formats. So in terms of file formats, there's vectors and there's raster formats. So actually, I'll explain it in the next slide. The main thing is, don't use pixelated images. It just looks very unprofessional, and in my opinion, it's not nice when images have pixelation in them. It just doesn't look very professional. Again, so it keeps try and use vectors in your design. It keeps it looking clean. Use high quality images, and the next point is not having enough symmetry. So the thing is, you don't need to have perfect symmetry all the time. Like, it's fine. If you are, you don't have to have everything in the middle, or you don't have to have everything on the side. You can create some, like, there could be some balance. So let's say if you put some text on the left-hand side, you can put some on the right-hand side, and they will balance out. Not everything has to be dead in the middle. Like, you don't have to achieve perfect symmetry. And so the next point is failing to communicate effectively. So you make sure you don't overdo it, and you should get your message across. I've done it myself. I put so many shapes and objects in there just because it was there. And you're trying to overemphasize things. So just use relevant things, relevant illustrations, the relevant font. Now, my last point, by the way, you will have to just remember this because I'll ask about this in the next example. So it's just not being consistent. So in the example of a social media post, let's say if you're a brand who normally uses, like a bold font, let's say if you only do quotes, right, on your Instagram. So you use really bold fonts and you use like a blue background. You've used blue background for quite a few of your posts, and then all of a sudden you switch to yellow, and then you do pink, and then you do red. There's no consistency, and you use different font. Try to stick to your brand. Let's say you get a color scheme or color palette. It doesn't have to be just blue, for example. Just stick to a color palette and only stick to that, and only stick to that kind of font family. I think it just gives off a really good impression, and it makes your brand look really professional. Not just brand, just anything in general. And it doesn't really matter what kind of content you create. Try to include all of these principles into your works, and I promise you they'll improve the quality of your design by a lot. Because these are all the mistakes I personally made as well as a beginner. I mean, apart from the low quality image part, I feel like I did almost all of those. So it's from my experience. I'm saying they're very easy to follow as well. So if you just try to remember, obviously it comes with practice. But what you can also do is take inspiration from other content. You look around different designs, see where you can adapt and into your style, see what works, see like good professional posters, and see, look, why is this so good? You should try to look out for these things. Anyway, so let's move on to the point about raster images, right? So what does it actually mean? Well, there's different types of file formats. You must have heard of JPEG and PNG, right? This is the thing that you need to be focusing on today. You don't have to really worry about anything else. So just before I go into JPEG and PNG, you have to know about you don't have to know about it. It's just nice to know. There's something called a vector and a raster file format. Vectors, essentially something that are based on mathematical point-based system. So they can be scaled up or down very easily. They have this includes the PDF, AI files or VSG. So what they do is, usually they're using logos and stuff because, if you want to put something on a billboard, like brands, for example, if you want to put something on a billboard, they use vectors. And vectors are actually, like I said, they're based on a mathematical point-based system. So you can stretch them as much as possible, shrink them as much as possible, and they will not lose their quality. Now, coming to raster images, they use pixels instead of mathematical points. Now, this includes PNG, JPEG, RAW, for example. So yeah, JPEG, also known as Joint Photographic Experts Group. This is one of the most extremely commonly used format in the world of photo storage. They're popular mainly because they save a lot of storage in comparison to other file types. But in order to achieve this file size, they use something called lossy compression. Again, you don't have to worry about this compression part, don't worry. It's just something nice to know. So yeah, compression just means you're trying to shrink down a large file into a small file, just to reduce the file size. However, in reducing this, you end up discarding some of the data, in order to reduce the file size. So the JPEG can actually reduce the file size, around 10% of the original uncompressed file, with little noticeable quality, loss to noticeable quality, because our eyes can't really notice that because it's just such tiny pixels. But over time, it's not great for sharp pictures, but over time, if you save the image multiple times, it kind of loses the quality and it compresses it more and more every single time. So let's say in the example of that cat over there, right? That's the original one on the far left, that's an uncompressed file. And then JPEG is bang in the middle. So, when you convert it to JPEG, you can see little noticeable difference because our eyes can't really notice something that small. But over time, it compresses the picture so much, it gets so pixelated. You must have seen it in some pictures, like deep fried pictures or deep fried memes, like it just completely ruins the quality because it's been through so much compression. That's the simplest way I can put it. So just the main points to take away is JPEG, they're small file sizes, uses lossy compression. You can use them if they're good enough resolution, but our main focus will be on PNG. So PNG stands for portable network graphic, and it does reduce the file size of graphic images, but without using the compression artifact the way JPEG does. And it uses something called lossless compression, which means the file size will be larger than JPEG. This is like a little bit of a trade-off, I guess, for having better quality. But the good thing is it supports transparency. That's the thing we're going to look at for, let's say in terms of logos. That's the thing you need to keep in mind. So when you're trying to download files, especially if it's for a logo or if you want something to have transparent background, make sure it is a PNG file. It should say .png at the end of it. So do you know how when you're downloading files, it's easy, it says .jpg or .pdf, etc. Make sure you look out for this. This is very important. And so what this does is in PNG, example of this cat, the original cat is obviously not behind this red dot, but the actual cat image is a PNG file. So the software understands that certain areas of the file, so certain areas of the image are transparent, and usually, like in the software where you're editing, it's shown as like a checkered area to indicate transparency. There's also something called SVG, scalable vector graphics, and there's also raw images. You don't have to worry about raw images, but it just means like file that's directly captured from the camera with minimal processing, and you have a lot more like professional term to use it. But as a beginner, it's not something you should worry about too much. Anyway, so now I'll go through some examples of the posters and the different features that you can use to create clean and professional looking posters. So we'll use different features and apps. So again, the link I've sent you, and I'll walk you through the different features and I'll ask you to follow if you wish. You don't have to, but it'll be nice. And I'll ask you to share some of the design I can share with everyone. And then you can share it with the Zoom if you wish. And the first thing to do when creating a poster, actually, before I do that, let's look at this example. I'm just going to give you guys 1 minute in the chat. Let me see what the chat is. In the chat quickly, if you can just all type, what do you think is good about this poster? What's good about it? What's bad about it? What can you improve? Just 1 minute. I don't know if there is a chat here, is it? Okay, there we go. Okay, wait, so bad, too many fonts. Okay, yeah, that's good. Bold writing, fonts not very good. It's striking, yeah. Good. Oh, you think it's good? Okay. It's a good control. Too much content. Yes, that's true. No consistency. Love the Sari Upsock logo, gang. So the calling is very good colors. Okay, interesting. So, but I'm guessing the general just okay. Just do you think it's a bad or a good poster? Just type that. Okay. Okay. Whoa. Yeah. So the general just is that you all think it's bad. I'm not trying to have a go at Sari Upsock. I got permission to use this, so please don't kill me. But okay, you can all stop commenting. It's fine now. Like I get the general idea. We'll move on to the next poster as well. But yeah, the thing over here is, as the points I told you earlier, is that there's not much contrast between the colors. It's just so bright. Let's say the dark green behind that blue and just using black, dark blue. It just doesn't really work. And they've used so many different types of font families, so many different, making some things bold, some not. I can count at least what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's at least 5 different font families in there, and it's just really distracting. And the information is not really organized well, and there's no hierarchy of text. It just doesn't look very nice in my opinion. So okay, yeah. Another thing is to notice is look at right at the bottom in the AppSock logo. Sorry, the Instagram logo. Do you see the pixelation? That is a JPEG file. We don't want that. We stay away from JPEG when it comes to logos because they don't really support transparency. Okay. And the same thing again with AppSock logo. The thing is, you can use a JPEG file and then crop it to a shape in Adobe Spark, which I'll show you later on. But the main thing to remember is make sure they don't have background. If you are going to have background, make sure you use a white background to kind of hide it, so it doesn't really look like it doesn't really look unprofessional. I made like a better version of this where I've just changed the colors. I'll show you that as well later on. And this one, made by yours truly, Jauhar Kazmi. This was my first ever poster that I did for Sorry Appsop. What do you think about this? Do you think it's bad? What's bad about it? What's good about it? I'd appreciate it. Cool. One second, give me 1 second. I'll try to catch up. Oops, sorry. There we go. Yeah, so let me know your thoughts. Oh, thanks. Busy background, I agree. Yeah. What else? But the red color is harsh on eyes. Yes, I agree. Yeah. Good contrast. Okay. Very good. Inconsistent. Yes, that's true. It's definitely better. I love it. Clear and informative. Okay. Interesting. The background is a little appealing. It shows where the food is and has lots of other shop. Okay, cool. Symmetrical social media icons. Yep. Oh yeah, so just noticed I somewhat learned about social media icons, like in using PNG or stuff without background. Email is not clear. Yes, that's true. Anyway, so yeah, the general idea is it's not really good. You may think it's better, but in my opinion, it's just not good because I've used so many different features. This is the first time I ever used Adobe Sparks. It allows me to put pictures in, allows me to use so many different fonts. I'm using yellow there. I'm using 2 pictures in the background just because I could. And especially look at the Instagram logo at the bottom left, the Sorry Appsock, it's pink, it's not really matching really well. And I wanted to show that we have free pizza, but I just put a picture of the pizza in the background, but then I made the text red. It just doesn't really work. Anyway, so let's move on. I'm going to move on to Adobe Sparks now. So I'm just going to give you some demonstration of the stuff that I've already prepared. Here's something I made earlier. And I'll go through different features that you can use to create like a clean, professional looking poster. So we'll use different features. We'll use different apps, and I'll walk you through the different features and ask you to follow if you wish. And the thing is, before starting a poster, the first thing you have to do is keep a theme in your mind. Brainstorm some ideas. Write down all the important details you need. So the most essential details, not just it would be nice to include this. It'd be nice to include that. Just the very most essential things. Think of as if you were looking at it from fresh pair of eyes. As if you were a stranger looking at your poster for the very, very first time. So if you can't think of anything, just if you can't think of the theme, look at templates. Just to get some inspiration. Use different arts, Islamic art templates. Look at the landscape, find nice photos, see what works better, and personalize it. And then, graphic design actually becomes really satisfying because when you have software like Adobe Sparks, you're unleashing your creativity with pretty much minimal effort. So I'm going to connect my Adobe Sparks now to the thing. Just give me one moment.
Can you speak a little slow, please?
Of course. Sorry, if you don't mind, could you type that in the chat, please? Or if you have, I may not have seen it. Okay, I'm going too fast. Cut. But please keep your microphone muted if you could, because it is being recorded. Exactly. Okay, let me just connect this thing to. Just to confirm, can you all see the? Can you all see my phone screen? Yep. Okay, if at any point, I'll have the chat open next to me. If at any point it cuts out, just let me know and I'll correct it, inshallah. Okay, perfect. So keeping those principles in mind that I was talking about earlier, here's something I've prepared beforehand. This is the first example that we'll be working on. So it's this poster here. Let me just actually take that away. So this is the first, this is the basic poster which I made if you were part of the AppSoc, for example. So if anyone from UCL AppSoc or anyone is watching, feel free to steal this idea, I don't really mind. So yeah, the different features I've utilized for this, I've adjusted the font. So there's different features available. So if you click on a font, in order to add font, you can select this feature here and it gives you the option to add text. So you write whatever, okay? Okay, there we go. So now when you have added the text, you click on it, you have different adjustability. So you can edit the text, you can delete it, you can duplicate it. So make 2 copies of it if you want to add some effect. Or else you can select multiple things at the same time. Let's say if you want to select the font and the icon at the same time, you can do that. So the other option is you can adjust fonts. I'll shortly tell you which fonts to download, just so we can make a similar design in our thing. Yeah, so what else is there? So there's color that you can change. So if you tap on these tuning icons, if you want to have this open on your phone as well, by the way, you can do that just so it's a lot easier. So, right now I've selected white, but if I do this, you have the whole color wheel to choose from, and you can adjust the saturation, the intensity of the colors and all of that. There we go. And then you can also adjust the shape. So this refers to the shape around the actual text. So I can make it a circle, I can make it transparent, like another circle. I can make like a box around it. Ooh. Yeah, so box with like rounded edges, all of that. So you have loads available, and you can do Facebook logos stuff. Another thing is that it's the different look, so you can actually make it a lot darker. So yeah, there's different effects that you can add to it. So you can add shadows, you can have outlines. So if you want text, you don't want the middle part, so you click on this, you reduce transparency. So this is how it becomes. This is just like a quick rundown. Don't worry, I'll go through this later on as well if I'm going too quickly. Just the order as well. So this is really important. So layering is really important just to make your poster look really advanced, right? So by order, I mean, so look, did you see like the little calligraphy at the back, right? So what I can do is I can set this title behind the calligraphy. Because the calligraphy is very faint as it is. Let me see, sorry, 1 second. It may not look it because it's so faint, but the calligraphy is actually, in front of the Quran circle title. So for example, this, look, because the actual title is right at the back and this icon's right here. All right, let's get back to this. So we talked about the order. So this to help us layering, adjust. So what you can do is fine tune adjustment with this adjust feature. So left, right, or you can just use your finger just to move it about. I personally find if you want to make bigger adjustments, you should use your finger. But if you want to fine tune, then you should obviously go for that one. So you can rotate the stuff as well. You can rotate this. Let me just send the order back. So now we can select this. Okay, so you can rotate, you can scale. So there's 2 ways you can adjust the size. Yes, speak a bit slow. Okay, got it. Sorry. So what you can also do is adjust the size, right? So you can make the scale small, big, whatever size that you want. And this is an also option for size, but this is more for fine tuning. So if you want to match this, so do you see these little lines at the bottom left? So right here. So that refers to the other sizes of other fonts. So it just, again, to help us with consistency. Next part is aligning. This is again really important. You won't really notice it in this title. So it just means like if it's left justified, right justified, or if it's bang in the middle. Spacing. This is again really important just to make it really look really professional. So do you see how right now which app I use? I'm using Adobe Sparks. Like I said in the beginning, please don't. You've all received the link if you sign up. You'll receive the link for this app. Please open it up. You haven't obviously got this, but we'll make this exact poster, then you'll have it with you. Sure. Yeah, so you can adjust the spacing between the letters. I think that's pretty cool. And then you can also adjust the spacing between the lines. And then again, the opacity. You can adjust how light it is, how dark it is. This actually really helps. You want to ignore the style bit at the bottom. That's not really necessary because we want to stick to our style. We don't really want any examples. So now what we're going to do, we're going to create this exact poster from scratch. So in creating the posters, let's say for a poster infographic, you have to consider the size. So as you can see, this exact poster is a square. So this is mainly for Instagram and Facebook. I guess that's when, for example, for UCL Alphabet Society, that's where they normally post. And it's best to keep a square landscape. And I think it's for Pinterest, I think you should make a portrait. But it's best to always go with square. And, I'll show you also how to remove the background on this logo here, the different ways. I'll ask you to download 2 different apps. They're all really easy to use, and inshallah, I'll cut you through it. And then it's also important to consider text hierarchy. Some information is more important than the other. I wouldn't make this title smaller than the actual, the timing of the event. It doesn't make sense. So you need to have hierarchy of text in the thing. So, you need to make clear what's the important part. The title takes the top spot, and that's why they're always at the top of a poster or an infographic, and the subheading, and then a smaller title. And you have subheading, which is like a small title but bigger than the rest of the text, as you can see here. So this, I guess you can consider it like a subheading. It's bigger than the actual location of the event, for example. And yeah, that's just literally the basics. And the elements should.
Brother Jauhar, can we ask participants if they have got this software? If not, maybe we can give them a couple of minutes to download and get familiar with it. And it may be the case that many participants, they haven't got this app and they may need to get familiar with it. So maybe we can spend a little bit more time on it.
Sure, no worries. Whilst I know most of you have got it. So thank you so much for downloading it. Those of you who haven't got it, do check your inboxes. The email may have gone to the junk folder. I have sent you the link to all the apps that we need. So I've sent you the iOS and the Android links. Please download it now. But for those who already have it, or should we just wait 1 minute just to give you time to download it quickly?
Yeah, and I've shared the links in the chat.
Oh yeah, exactly. Thank you. I'll just give you guys 1 or 2 minutes. Just download it quickly. If anyone wants to have some water, feel free.
In the meanwhile, if you have got any questions, please feel free to ask. You can type in the chat, or I think we can let participants to unmute them as well.
Perfect. So if you have any questions, please drop in there, chat quickly. How did you go into what you are now? This is just Adobe Spark. So I've opened one of the examples of my posters. So this I'll show you again. You can't see my screen, right?
Can we start a poster from the scratch?
Yeah, that's what we're doing. Sure.
Okay.
I know. What can you see on my screen? Because the thing is stuck. It's not just for mobile. It's available as a web app as well. So if you just go on Google and type Adobe Sparks, you can download it there as well. It has the exact same features, but I just prefer the mobile one because I feel like it's a lot smoother to switch between apps, and it's in my opinion, it's a more smoother experience. Yeah, sorry, just to clarify, I can see the Quran circle poster. You can just see the Quran circle, nothing else. I can see your poster. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing this for 1 second because I think it's just not responding. Give me 1 moment. You'll be able to see my face now, I think.
Can you give us the links for the
If you just check the chat, all the links are in the chat, or if you check your email.
I'm asking for desktop based applications for equivalent.
In the email, I've sent you the link for the desktop app as well. So, but if you go on Google and just type Adobe Sparks, I think the first search will come up, and that'll be that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Also, can you please all mute your microphone because I can hear some feedback through this. Please all mute microphones, exactly. Because if you don't follow the rules, we might have to kick some of you out because this is being recorded, and some people, you know, who may look at it in the future, they may find it a bit annoying. So exactly. Just to quickly make sure, can you all see my home screen, right? Not my actual app. So can you see me swiping through pages? Yes, no. Yeah, okay, perfect. So the app I'm using right now, just to clarify, the app I'm using right now is Adobe Sparks. You can all have it in either your Android phone or your iPhone. Okay, just to be clear. Let's give it just one more minute for anyone who hasn't downloaded it or who doesn't have access to it. So you can either go on the website. Right now I'm using the app, so I'd prefer if you guys could use the app as well. Just be a lot easier. On the website, it's exactly the same features. I just find the app a lot easier to use. Okay, 44 past, inshallah, we'll just continue with that. So I'm just gonna open Adobe Sparks. So is everyone okay to start from scratch now? Brother Misam, is it okay if I carry on? Yeah, cool. All right, so what we're gonna do is when you all open Adobe Sparks, okay, you see the plus button at the bottom. So you'd want to select that, okay? I'll try and go as slow as possible. You know, I know I am talking fast, but for this science time, if it's something new to you, that's perfectly fine. So you open up again from the beginning, open up Adobe Sparks. This is the first thing you'll see. You either see templates or your posts. At the moment, you won't have anything because you've just set up your account. So click the plus button, select solid color. So we're trying to make the Quran circle poster, yeah? Just let's say for an apps document. Let's say the color, so we select the color, we try to get as close to that. It's like a light blue, it's like turquoise type of color. So I'm going to go for this. And again, you have to keep color somewhat dark because, again, remember the principle I told you earlier. If we're going to use light text, have a dark background or somewhat dark background with a bit of contrast. It doesn't have to be dark, but just something with a bit of contrast. So we all got the blue color, right? So we click done at the bottom here and then click next. Now, because you all have the free version, again, this the emphasis of this workshop is that you can use free software. You don't really have to invest anything. So if you all have this feature right here, so if you know on the bottom right, it says Adobe Sparks, you can remove that watermark by clicking on it. And at the bottom, it says remove watermark on this project. It will give you the exact same option if you're on the desktop as well. How do I click on this website? Where do I click? On the website, we'll go to start project from scratch. It will be on the top left corner. And it will open up a tab. Okay, would you like me to repeat the app process? Yes, would you like me to repeat how I got to this part? Just drop it in the chat, please. Yes, okay, fine. Okay, you know what, just for the sake of it, we'll do it again, just to keep everyone happy. So we'll do plus, we click on the plus button at the bottom, you see right here, the green button. We select solid color. And from that color, okay, again, we're trying to recreate this Quran circle background. This Quran circle poster, okay? It's something very simple. So we're gonna choose plus solid color. And then we go for like a light blue color, slightly darker color, just so there's a contrast with white, okay? Then we click, let's make it a bit lighter. then we click done. Okay, then we click next. There will be a watermark. So for the watermark, what you want to do on the desktop and on the iPhone or Android, just click on the actual watermark right here. I don't know, you won't be able to see me click the screen on there, but if you just see here, click on the watermark itself, and it will say learn more or remove the watermark on this project, or remove once. Just click either remove once or remove the watermark on this project, and it will just take it away. It's perfectly fine. Now, the good thing about Adobe Spark is it gives you loads of different layouts. Mostly, I'd recommend just using the square or Instagram one. We click done here. Now, the first thing we need to remember, where did you get the plain template? I just selected just a solid color, nothing else. There's no template. Okay. So the first thing I'm going to do is what was it, the title, right? So you do add text. We want the title to be really big, so we'll do all caps actually. No. For an italic font, try to have like normal case letters, like capital letter followed by normal case letters. So we'll do Quran circle because we want to have like a bit of a gap between them. So I'm going to do so I pressed enter, and in the next line I'm going to do Quran circle. Now, first, like initially, it will just give you like a random template that it has generated for you, but we don't want that. We want our own design, right? So what you're going to do now, go to font. What I want you to select, if you have it, this is a font called Playfair. I'll give you a minute or two just to scroll through the different text. It's called Playfair. This is what I personally use, and what I use was bold italic. Now, if you don't have it, that's perfectly fine. So you want to scroll all the way to the end just to get loads of different fonts. You see the plus button right here. After the Adobe fonts, it will say plus, okay? Now, after this, it will just give you some options, and then you click add at the top. Got it? Then you'll say search. So with the search, just search Playfair.
Can you go slower?
Sure. So again, I've got the font now, so I'll put the text in, okay? And it's created a random template for me. Now what you want to do is select, so for now, because we're trying to create what I created, essentially trying to mimic it. It creates a random template for you, but you want to select a font called Playfair Display. Sorry? Yeah. So you want to select something called Playfair Display. If you don't have it, that's fine. You want to scroll all the way to the end. So this is the font section, by the way. I'll start again. Click on the actual text. Can we please kick out, say it's MacBook, because I feel like they're just spamming at the moment. Exactly. Yeah, so how did I make the bold and italic? Yeah, that's what I'm showing you, okay? So what I did was, again, just to really simplify, click on the actual text, go to the font section, okay? Scroll through the fonts, and there will be different fonts available. So one of them is Playfair Display. I have all these options available, you can make it italic, blah, blah, blah. But because I downloaded this font, what you can do is go right to the end, click on this plus right here, again, this plus right here, and then on the top right corner, it will say add. And in this little search feature right here, you will just search Playfair and display. This is the font family. This is called a font family. So it's from the same family, but like different variations of it. Okay. So now you're just I've already downloaded it, but what you all want to do is download this one. So bold italic. Actually download all of them if you can. We'll try and utilize it in different things. So right, but the main thing is download the italic versions of it, of the bold ones. I'll give you guys 1 minute to do that because some it may take some time to download, which is perfectly fine. I just type a yes in the chat if you're okay with me carrying on after selecting the font. Okay, cool. Perfect. So you've all got the Playfair Display font, right? That's perfect. So which Playfair type should I use? Playfair Display. Specifically search that. Okay. So now that you have that, so once you've downloaded the fonts, right, it will give you this plus sign right here. Now you can just swipe through them. There's loads of different options. So you have bold, just italic, you know, black italic. For this one, you should all select bold italic, okay? I'll give you some time to find it because it can be quite tricky to find it within all these. Just let me know in the chat quickly if you've got that and you've selected the font. So you want to select, once again, bold italic. Just type a yes in the chat if you're okay with me carrying on. Cool, thanks. Okay, there we go. So now what we're going to do again, it has a white background around it. You see how it has a white box around it? We don't really want that, okay? So we click on the font again. We go to shape now because there's a shape around it. We don't want any shapes around our text. We want to recreate that one, okay? So what you just do is click on that. Do you see that little sign in the corner, in the top left corner? So that will remove any shape, okay? Let me know if you can all find it. I mean, I think that step is pretty easy. Next part is, what I'll do is go to color and I'll just go through it. What you all want to do is go to the basics, or just go to that, select any color if you want, and just click on these tuning icons and move all the way to the bottom left corner. That's with zero saturation, nothing. So it's just plain white. Cool. Good to carry on. So you've all taken away the shape. So it has no shape now. And it has a white color. Just let me know in the chat if you're okay with me carrying on. Cool, perfect. Now, what we're going to do is move the text up a bit, okay? And we're going to increase the size. We want it to be slightly bigger. I think this is a bit too small. Even though it's still really bold and it's bang in the middle, you still want to make it a bit bigger. So where you want to go to is adjust, after selecting the font, obviously, and click on scale. We're just going to increase it a little bit. I don't know. Let's say 128%. So, and if you go to size, it would say 186 or somewhere around that. So you should all try to get it. So you can change the size again through either the adjust feature using the scale, or you can just use the size feature and it will just do the same thing. So if you actually just go to the size feature and make it 180 or around that, let me know if you've done that, and I'll carry on. Just tap a yes in the chat, please. Yep, cool, perfect, really good. Now what we're going to do is the alignment, because you know how the circle is really, the actual Quran bit is really large, but the circle bit is small. So what we can do is we can either left align it. We don't want that because all the information is in the center. How do you get rid of the white box? Again, like I showed you, go to shape and click on this thing at the bottom, because normally it will have this. Go to this part, okay? You want to get rid of any shapes. Anyway, so what I was saying about alignment. So you want to select this. It will make them both the same size. I think that looks quite nice. Once you've all done the alignment, let me know. The font looks like Arial font. It doesn't look like yours. Someone just said the font looks like an Arial font. Doesn't look like yours. Again, like I showed earlier, you have to download the font through the font feature. I'll go through it later on, but I don't want to hold everyone else back. Anyway, so you've all aligned the text here. Okay, fine. Now we're going to do the spacing. Now you can either increase the spacing a lot. This is what I meant by inconsistent spacing, right? Like it's just that just looks so odd. You know, you want, because it's the same title. You want to keep it closer together. So in terms of the actual line spacing, let's say we'll stick to 25, and the letter spacing just to make it look a bit chic, right? So we're going to make the letter spacing, let's say 8, right? Yeah, and we just keep it there. Just position it somewhere, not in the middle, but just above middle. Let me know if you've done the spacing, and I'll carry on, inshallah. Cool. Damn, you guys are quick, mashallah. All right. Got it? Perfect, perfect. So the next thing is we're going to include the Quran. Now to get this, like this is the thing I'm going to teach you, like just what type of stuff to look for. So open up your browser. So let's say whether it's Google Chrome, Safari, or just internet, open it up and just go to Google. The first thing you're going to search is the file type I asked you to search was, I told you about, which supports transparency, was PNG, portable network graphics. So what you want to do is just search Quran. Quran PNG, and click go. And it will open images. So just go to the images section on Google. Also, to get rid of vibrant language. Thanks. You've all got to Google. I mean, I don't have to explain you this. So do you see how in the far right one, on the right hand side, there's like checkered background, right, behind the picture? I mean, this is a really bad example because it's not actually transparent, but someone just taking a screenshot of where it's supposed to look like. But that's what indicates transparency. Anyway, so now we're on Google. We search Quran PNG. So we just scroll down. We want to get the exact same thing that I got for my poster. So we're just going to scroll down a little bit. You should see this one right here. Yeah. Let me know if you do. And just open it. Even though it's not PNG, that's fine. Found it? Perfect. I know this is not PNG itself. This doesn't have a transparent background, but it's fine. I'll show you how to take it away. Cool. You all found it? Okay, fine. You on your iPhone, just hold it down and add to photos. Or that's fine if you haven't found it. Just take your time. We'll just search Quran PNG and scroll down a little bit. It shouldn't be too far away. Don't worry if you haven't found it. I'll try to use different icons. That's the whole point. I'll try to show you all the available features. Cool. Done. Perfect. We'll go back to Adobe Sparks. So now we'll open up our poster that we have. Could you please mute your microphones? Thanks. Oh, I don't know. Where's my poster one? Did I not save it? Oh, there we go. Yeah, so,
download it on an Android phone?
sorry?
How do you download it on an Android phone?
Download the photo.
Yeah.
You should just hold it down. It should give you an option.
It's not giving me an option.
I mean, I don't have an Android. I don't have to tell you because you might have a different version. Also, please, if you want to ask questions, drop it in the chat instead of unmuting microphone. I really appreciate it. Is that cool? But once you found the image, you download it, fine. Okay. Now what you want to do is add the image. So you click on add button, okay, at the bottom, without selecting anything, right? So you want to click the add button, click add image. Okay. I don't want to big my life up, but it's going to open up the media that you have. So click on the Quran image that you downloaded. Perfect. What you want to select is move freely. Pin to background, it will just pin the image to the background. I'll just show you how. You shouldn't be doing this. That's not what you want, okay? What you want is when you add the image, it's just simply click on that, add it, and move it freely, right? So just, it gives us the room to move it freely, as I said. So now what you want to do is click on the actual picture. Oh, sorry, one second. Click on the actual picture. Now, the Adobe Sparks, it gives a really good feature where you can remove the background. I don't know if you can see it. If you all go to edit, there's an option for this remove background. Yeah. Because it is a beta, the beta, so I don't know if everyone has it. So if you do, just let me know in the chat. If you don't, I'll show you another way of making the background. I mean, remove the background. Got it? Perfect. Click on, so you just want to select that feature, yeah? How do you delete an image? So if you want to delete the image, you're going to click on the actual image itself, go to edit, and if you just swipe a little bit, it will give you the option for delete right here. But, and you can also undo right at the top. There we go. Perfect. Now that you've got this image, that's remove the background. But if it doesn't work for you, if the restore background doesn't work for you, no problem, I got you. So what you want to do is open up the eraser app, okay? I ask you to download. This eraser app, the thing that's really good about it is you can just remove a certain color, okay, right? So you want to click on erase. And what you want to do is either do target color or target area. It works similarly. We're going to do target color because we just want to remove the white background, yeah? So we click on this, and it's just really easy. You literally just point to the background and it does it for you. But the problem is now, it removed the actual white bits in the thing as well. But what you want to do is reduce the threshold. By threshold, it means how much of the white. So like, should it take away all the shades of white as well? So, you just want to keep the threshold in the middle right here, okay? Click done. And on the top right corner, okay, it should give you the option to export. This is for people who don't have InSpark. If you already have InSpark, you don't have to worry about this. Yeah. Oh, sorry, I'm not sponsored by these guys. That pops up. Anyway, so now do you see right at the top the option that it gives you, right? The different resolutions, max, normal, small, and it shows you PNG, transparent, like I said earlier, or JPEG. We don't want that. We want PNG, okay? And then we save this picture. Save to photo album. I mean, I don't really need to. We already have that. Just for the sake of I'll do it. Photo saved successfully. Now we're going to go back to Adobe Sparks, add picture. Now when we add the image that we edited, well, it should have no background. Perfect, right? I mean, I'm going to remove this one. But so now we have the, is everyone with me so far actually? Just let me know. Perfect, got it. So now, usually like, you'd need quite like complex software to remove background. I mean, it's not complex, but it can be quite tricky for a beginner. This is something that's very simple. So now what you want to do with this actual image, grab it, put it right in the middle so you can align it. So do you see how these lines pop up? That's for alignment. Make it in the middle and go to adjust and reduce the scale. There we go. We don't want it to be a huge part of the thing, right? So just let me know if you all get to this part. And just put the actual icon underneath the Quran circle title. Let me know if you got perfect, got it? Some of you guys are quick, mashallah. So once you've done that, there's another feature you can add is the opacity, however you pronounce it. So you just want to do that. It's just so it blends into the background really well, right? It's because right now it sticks out a bit, that color. So you make sure you reduce the opacity to, let's say, make it 80%. It's just so we have some consistency, right? Now the next part was the date, or the date and time of the event. Okay, so what you're going to go back to is add text. Okay, again, add text. So whatever the time was, let's do 15th of, what I do personally sometimes in post is I make it all caps. You don't have to, but for the sake of it, let's make this all caps. So 15th. We'll do a day as well. So Wednesday, 15th of July. And there's another thing that you can add actually. I don't know if some of you may have it on your keyboards, and some of you just have it on your iPhone keyboards as well. If you click on the thing at the bottom where it says 1, 2, 3 or ABC, click on that, and then click on the one above it. It should give you this line. Right? You don't all have to have it. Don't worry. If you don't have it, it's calm. But I think it just has like a professional touch. And then let's say the Quran circle, we want to hold it at 12:30 p.m. on Wednesday. Got it? It shows you this. We don't want this font because it's not appropriate, for the actual purpose of it. If you want people to read it, it doesn't need to look cool, right? It's actual useful information. So what we're going to do now is go to font, okay? The font that we're going to do for this is called Lato, or Lato. I don't know how to pronounce it. If you don't have this, that's perfectly fine. Just click on the font like I showed you earlier. Click on the plus button and click on the add button right there. And then search Later, and it should give you the font family. Okay, this is all the font family. I've downloaded them all, but if you want, you can download some of them. What I recommend you download is the Later medium and bold, semi-bold, and regular, if you can, please. I'll just give 1 minute for everyone to download if you don't already have it, and just let me know in the chat if you're all good. Yep, good, perfect. Okay, yeah, so for now, also the other thing we're going to do, so now that we download Later, that's fine. So for now, for this one, I would recommend using to be honest, I personally would use Medium. Download Later and download Later Medium, semi-bold and bold. So for this one, we're going to use Medium, okay? Got it. And oh yeah, there's another way. So you can try, click on these little white dots in the corner and just extend them because we want it all to be in the same line, okay? And then we just align it all together. Let me know if you got this far. Yeah, perfect. So now you made it all into one line, okay? Now we just want to make it slightly smaller. So you use the scale feature, for example, and just make sure it's the same length as the Quran circle title. Okay. How do you scale into 2 rows? You mean the time of the event?
Yes, when you had Wednesday at the top and the date and time.
So like this? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So when we do it, so the Wednesday isn't.
Okay. So you're going to click on the font. Okay. And what you're going to do is, do you see the 4 white corners? So you want to click on the bottom right one. Yes. So click on that. I've selected it, and you just extend it. So right now it was here, right? So you just want to extend it like this. Is that all right?
When you move it, the Wednesday, its font size increases automatically. I'm not sure if everyone else has got this feature or not. But
what do you mean increases automatically?
so if you
So by that,
move it 2 rows, yeah.
Right this, okay. So when you select the white corner here,
Okay.
and you just drag it like this. So you want to drag it up because you want to put it on into one line. So right now it's over here, yeah. So you want to drag it up. Is that working now? So right now it will be here for you, like when you first create the text. So what you just do is either grab the bottom one, so it could be bottom left or bottom right, and just extend it.
The issue is this Wednesday, it automatically becomes enlarged. So it's a bigger font.
Oh, okay. So if it automatically becomes enlarged, you go to your alignment. Your alignment could be selected as this. You don't want this. We want the center alignment. See if that makes a difference.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. If it does, let me know actually if it fixes the issue.
Yeah, got it. Cheers.
Yeah. All right, perfect. Anyone else who had the same issue, could you just please confirm? Yeah, all right. I'm guessing most of you are okay with it. So what you want to do now is just, like I said, reduce this font size down to this. Okay, this looks somewhat okay. And the next thing that we really wanted to do, it was quite important. It was the logo, the AppSoc logo. Now, a lot of the times, if you're making, can you repeat the font name of the first title? Okay, the font for this was Play Fair Display. It's right here. Okay, so now I don't want to go back too much. If you get someone else can answer the question in the chat for me, like more questions like that, I'll really appreciate it. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. So what you want to do now? You want the AppSoc logo, okay? We don't really have it, and we don't have one with our background. Yeah. Can you repeat all the steps? I don't want to hold anyone back, so I'll do different examples. I'll use the same features in there, so I don't want to hold anyone back. So for this, now we're going to do is just search UCL AppSoc, I guess. So if you want to go on Google, everyone, search UCL AppSoc. Yeah, and go to images, and select this one, and just download it, like you did with the Quran thing. Okay. Now, because this has a white background, instead of putting in, like, let me just show you. It will have a white background to begin with. Okay. It will have a white background. We don't want this. This doesn't look professional. Okay. So we just want to take this away. We're going to take this away. What we're going to do is go to eraser, the background eraser again. We're going to use the exact same features that we used for the Quran thing. We're going to, where is this? Where's the AppSoc logo? There we go. So we got the AppSoc logo now. We're going to click on erase, click on target color. I'm just going to select this. It's going to remove everything that's white. Okay. There we go. It's that simple. Now then we're going to click done. If you're an iPhone, you can, I'm not sure about the Android features because it's a different app. But what you can do is click on contrast. Oh wait, so we're going to reduce the contrast. Okay. And we're going to increase the brightness because we want a white logo. If we don't have, this is for someone who has, you don't have any AppSoc logo available or anything. So you just want to increase the brightness, increase everything just to make it white, increase the exposure, all of that. So do you see how we turned a purple logo into a white logo? Now we're going to export it, drag the corner. All right, sorry. Like that. Now we have this white logo as a PNG. We want to save it. Save to photo album. Perfect. We're going to open up Adobe Sparks again, open up our poster. Just give it some time to load. Get this quite a lot.
Brother, could you please show it again how you erase the background?
Sure.
And some people are still asking which app you're using. So we have already shared the app link, as Brother Jauhar said.
Yeah, so the app links have already been shared. So all the background eraser app on iPhone and Android. Just please check your emails once again if you don't already have it. Yeah, cool. So I open up my post. For some reason, it's showing me this. When I open it, it's fine. Anyway, so you take the logo, go to add image. Yeah, it's different on Android. I feel so you can remove like a certain section, but it's fine. You can just include this for now. I'll show you other features on a different app later on for sure. But I'm just showing you like the basics right now. Okay, so we're going to add image. So now we have a white logo. Perfect. If you're still doing the removing background, that's fine. Just let me know and I'll pause for a bit. And what we want to do is just size the logo, put it right in the corner. If you want, you can put it here in the middle, but I prefer it in the corner. Just let me know once you guys have done the background and I'll move on, inshallah. If you can't change it from purple to white, don't worry, but the way I did it is by just increasing the brightness, the exposure. So what I did was I went on adjust. I just increased the brightness a lot. I reduced the contrast. I increased the exposure to like max, okay? And that's it. And then I just downloaded it. I don't know if you have this feature on Android, so I'll have to find an option for that. But if you can't do that on Android, by the way, Adobe Sparks does give you some options. That's fine if you can't find it on Android, don't worry. I'll have to go through a bit more. I have an iPhone myself. It's just, I can't guide you exactly. So what you want to do now, you can actually adjust the image. So now that we've added the image, just for the sake of it, I'm going to make it a bit bigger. You can actually enhance it. So increase the brightness, highlight, shadows, blah, blah, blah. Reduce the contrast even more, adjust the saturation, etc. You can do this in Adobe Sparks as well. And now we're going to make the logo small again. Have you all go to this bit so far? So with the logo, Quran circle, a little illustration, the time, and yeah, and the blue background.
Can you repeat how do you write that Wednesday, 15 July, 12:13?
Sure. So if you don't mind, could you just type in the chat, please? Or just type a couple of times in case I don't see it. I'd appreciate if you don't unmute yourself. So what I did to get the Wednesday, add, and then I clicked on add text, okay? Now just type Wednesday, whatever the time is, I don't know, 15th of June. And then we write a time, which was 12:30. You don't have to have this line in the middle, but it's fine if you do. And once you get this, you want to create this and you want to drag it out just so it all becomes one line. To make it white, go on Jazakallah, Mohammed. Appreciate it. So now we've all got to this part. Let me know, please. Just type a yes in the chat if you've got this part. Perfect, got it. Now what we're going to do is add the little, I'll go back to my design. So in our design, what else is missing? The missing part is the actual border. They're saying the UCL Society and the location, yeah? How can I change the logo from purple to white on Sparks? On Sparks, I don't know if it will change it completely, but like I said, go to enhance. So you select the image, go to the enhance, increase the brightness, increase all of that, and reduce the contrast. Inshallah. If you want, don't worry about it. There's other ways you can edit the picture, obviously, but I'm just showing you how you can remove the background to begin with. The actual, the actual image editing stuff you can do and other things. But right now, my main point is showing you how to remove the background. Okay? So you've all got to this point now. What we also want to add now is the UCL Algebra Society Presents. But that's like the tiny part. That's just your brand, okay? So let's just say UCL Apps or Presents. Again, we still have the same thing, right? We want to make it all into one line. Put it right in the middle. and just reduce the font size. I mean, reduce the actual size of it. Just like that. Okay. This should be pretty simple. I don't have to slow down for this. يشيل أبسط mean it means أهل society. يشيل أهل society, short for أبسط. Now what we're going to do is add an icon because we had like a white border, right? So we go to icon, and because it's a square image, so we're just going to go to square. Okay. And there's loads of different ones, but we want to select the one with, so black means that that bit is colored. Okay, we can change the color of that, but we want to select this one if you're going to want to find it. If you found it, click on it, it will just say and add one. Okay, now you have the little square. Got it? If everyone else got it, please type a yes in the Zoom chat. Got it, perfect. Now what I'm going to do is just go in the corner, take it in the corner, and select this little button right here, and just extend it all the way to the corner. It doesn't have to be perfectly lined up. This is just a small demonstration. Got it? Now, this is not the color that we want, obviously. The good thing is with Sparks is you can click this, edit color, and change the color to white. Select the actual square, not the background, change it to white. There we go. Now it's starting to look like the one I had earlier. If you all got to this point, let me know, please. And it has, okay, the time is, it is getting quite late now. I thought I'll be going through quite a lot, but I think we might need another workshop. Okay, you got it? It's perfect. So you've got it all looking up to here. I think inshallah we should end it around 12:40, inshallah, because we need part two. Inshallah. Because I wanted to cover a lot more, but I don't think I'll have time. So inshallah we'll end it at 12:40 just for the Dhuhr prayer as well. Anyway, so you all got to this part now, yeah? Cool. Perfect. Now we want to add the location. So again, use the add text feature, and we'll just add via Zoom and just nothing else. It's fine. You can also add the Zoom ID as well if you want, but we'll just do it via Zoom for now and make it smaller. Let's put it right here, but that's way too big, right? So we're just going to go to adjust size. You can tell about the blur background, of course, yeah. So we got to this part, boom. That's it. Via Zoom, and if you want, you can add your ID at the bottom. Got it? If you all got this part, feel free to share in the Zoom if you can, if it gives you an option. Download and share it. With the downloading, you want to click on the top right corner. You can either do it as transparent. When it's just like a single color in the background, you can do it as transparent. So it will make it a PNG file, which I told you about earlier. Or you can do a solid color, which is the blue that we have. You can share it to all these places, or you can save image. Once you save image, you can just drop in this thing. If you're all good with this, if you've all exported the picture and if you all included all these details, please let me know and I'll carry on, inshallah. All good? Perfect. Now, if you want, you can share it here and I'll show some of your posters, the way you post them. How do you export? So on the computer, it'll be on the top right corner. It'll just give you the option to export as either a PDF, a JPEG, or a PNG. On the iPhone or Android, I think it will just be in the top right corner. Do you see that button right here? Top right corner. Click on solid color and then save image. Okay. Got it? That's it. We're done with this poster now. Okay. I want to move on to a few different things. There's a lot of infographic stuff I needed to cover, but I think I won't have enough time. So okay, let's do a quick one. There's another feature for background, making the background gray. Okay. We click on the plus and just select any photo. The good thing about Adobe Sparks is that it has loads of license-free photos. That's the one thing, actually, that's the one advice I'm gonna leave you guys with. Whatever photos you guys use, make sure you have the rights to it, or it doesn't have a watermark on it and stuff, because you can get sued for it, and I wouldn't want that for you. It's just loads of trouble. Make sure the images that you use are royalty-free. Look out for that. There's a specific section in Google where you can just search royalty-free images. Most of them should be fine. But yeah, anyways, so what we're going to do again, just to show you the background blur feature, yeah? Just to make your text look all 3D. Search free photos. Let's just, you know what, for the sake of it, I'll just do a waterfall. Okay. Just do any picture. You don't have to follow exactly what I'm doing. Okay. There's a waterfall right here. Now you want to include like an inspiration. Wait 1 second. Let me just delete this text. I don't need it. I'll remove the watermark as well, like I did earlier. Again, this is a free software, so you don't actually have to pay for it. So you will have the trouble of having to remove the watermark every time, but that's fine. So what you want to do, I'm going to add a little text. I'll just write hello, and I'm going to make it white. Okay. Okay, sorry. I'm going to remove the shape, and I'm going to make the font white. Just keeping it simple. I'm not changing anything. It could just be the default folder you have. Now, it doesn't actually look very nice right now. It's clashing. Like I said, it goes against the principles that I taught you, and it's clashing. So what you want to do, click on the actual picture. Don't click on the font. Click on the picture. Click on looks, right? So you can either make it dark. That's getting better, right? See, there's a bit of a contrast. You add like a little overlay. That's what it's called. So you can add a color overlay, so it makes that contrast between the text and the background. You can either colorize it, make a different color. I want to keep it the same color. I want the actual colors of the thing. So what you can do in look section, go right to the end. It's something called blur, okay? And at the blur section, you increase the blur quite a lot. And that gives it like a 3D effect to it now. It looks really professional to me. But what you also want to do is just make it slightly dark, right? So just remove the brightness a little bit if you want. Or if you don't want to remove the brightness, there's one thing I would highly recommend you to do is using overlays. The overlay is just adding a colored layer, okay? So the way you can do this is through adding icon. Let's just say square is probably the best thing, yeah? Let's just use the square. That's what I usually do in my stuff anyways. So you want to take it, put it right to the back and increase it. But now we have a problem. It's covering the actual text. The thing I taught you, how did you have the border? So the way I did, let me just go through this quickly. So now that I've added the square and I made it bigger, this is the overlay. We go to order and go right to the back, okay? So the order is either right at the top or right at the back. And now you can't actually see the picture. So what you should do is reduce opacity and just reduce as much as you can, just so you still see some of the picture, but you also see, the text at the same time. So there's a bit of a contrast between them. And there we go. That's, you can make inspiration posts, so you want to put quotes there or anything like that. But just make sure there's contrast between them and don't go overboard with the colors. Just use loads of different examples. There's a lot of things I wanted to cover with you, but I don't think I'll have enough time. But a lot of places where I would recommend going for inspiration in terms of infographics or posters is, I thought there's a way for me to plug their charity as well. It's Al-Ain. You must have heard of the charity. They do amazing work in Iraq. So I'll show you some of their posters actually, which I had saved earlier. If you just take a look, how beautifully they follow the basic principles, yeah. So what they do, you have the main text and everything else, and they use 1 to 2 colors max. They use the same font family, but they either make it bold or bold or thin, but they don't actually go overboard with the font. Okay. There's another good example I want to show you is for 100 for Yemen, which is a campaign run by Lady Fatima Trust, which I thought I should plug. And I thought it would be my way of raising some awareness for Yemen as well. So they made like a really good infographic regarding Yemen and how you can make a change. So in terms of infographic, again, look how they added the image overlay. They added bold text and there's contrast between it, yeah? So I'll just swipe. So this is something that they did as well. So it's one of the worst humanitarian crises going on at the moment. You should all read up on it if you have time. But again, look at the way they presented the information. So if someone was looking at it, someone who has no idea what it is, oftentimes things can be really difficult to read because there's so much of it. What they've done is put it into chunks and made the contrast really well, but they've added like not a nice picture stuff, but like they've added a picture which kind of portrays your messages that you're trying to get across as well. Okay, so it's a similar thing with this. There's another way you can do this actually. I made an example of that exact same poster. So it's like their style of infographic. So what you can just do is something similar to this. So you add a picture like I showed you earlier. You add like a background overlay over it. You add text, just simple, very simple text, and you add the logos in the corner. So you see how everything is left aligned, By alignment, I mean everything is either to the side, right? It's not in the, so this is not in the middle, and that's on the left. Everything is properly aligned. But anyway, so this is some of the things that you can do. You can sign petitions as well. The other good example I would like to give you is what was it? I had it up with me for an infographic, let's say, for example. And I know a lot of people are interested in this. This is something I would like to raise awareness for as well. MedSupply, Drive UK, a lot of my friends have done a fundraiser for them as well. It's just look at the way they've laid out the information. Even though some, let's say, look at the point number one, you know, the charity is still receiving PPA requests. Now what they've done is put that information on the left. So for, you know, to make up for that and, you know, to balance it out, they've added some font to the right. And do have a read through this as well. It's just my way of getting their message out, and you guys should donate to them. They're doing amazing work during these times. And so, yeah, look at the way they've created the balance. The other thing is the use of illustrations. The illustrations that they use have the same style. Like, you know, they all have thin borders or have very light, subtle colors. It's not just in your face. They're not using stuff just for the sake of it. This is one of the rules I should follow. Again, if you want, I can send you all the slides, or we can email it to you if you like. But yeah, that's some of the examples that I have shown you. In terms of logo, we don't have much time, so I'll try and do as much as possible. So in terms of logos, actually, here's some examples I made earlier. Okay, let's see, you know what, let's do a bakery one, okay? This is something very simple. I'll try and do this in 5 minutes. So I'm sorry if I go fast, okay? This is something I just randomly made up, right? So you go to get this. I got a little cupcake, blah, blah, blah. You go to icon, and you can just type cupcake. If it's like for a baking thing, right? Let's just choose any for the sake. Okay, you can change the color of this icon, like I've shown you. So you're familiar with all the features, blah, blah, blah. And the little paint that I added the background. So what you just do is search for paint stroke using that, and you know, add a relevant font to it. You know, you don't want to add. You be very careful with your font. You don't just want to add random fonts just for the sake. Like, this doesn't really go together. It's such a bold text. So, you know, make it a bit italic. I'll show you the different fonts that you should be using. And I think, how do you get the Arabic font? Good question. Actually, let me utilize that app. I haven't told you about this app yet, but it's called Ana Mukhtarif Al Khat. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly, so if anyone's an Arabic speaker, please do correct me. It's called Ana Mukhtarif Al Khat. So what you can do, what you can just do, this is like a little bonus, by the way, right at the end. So what you can do is click on new when you open the app. I'll include this app in the slide, don't worry. I'll show you which one it is. So you can just do new, oops, include, ignore this not there. Okay, we can just do, you know, add text, blah, blah, blah. Let's say I want to write my name, for example, Jauhar. Yeah, there's different types of styles of calligraphy that you can include. Boom, and it just is, and you can have different styles, etc. And you can export it as a PDF. And so the other thing that I didn't go through is Photoshop Mix. What kind of examples can I give you? Photoshop Mix is another really good thing, so which allows you to remove backgrounds and stuff. For example, let me give, actually, what I want you guys to do is to go to Google. Let's type, let's see, Imam Ali net. I just want some picture of the Imam Ali shrine, just so I can help you, you know, remove the background from it. It's a really good example. Yeah, so when you search Imam Ali net, just use this one actually. It's just for the sake of the demonstration. Okay. I'll just do this in 2 minutes. I want to demonstrate how Adobe Photoshop Mix works. So you open it, you click on plus. We go part 2. Inshallah, we'll try to arrange it if you guys are interested. We'll maybe do it in like after August, because I'm doing my dissertation at the moment, so it'll be a bit difficult. But we'll try to do it later on, inshallah. So you just load up the picture in there, fine. There's loads of different pictures available. We can cut it out, right? What you want to do is either you do auto. Again, I think one of my friends asked me to do this, so it'll be quite useful to know. You can use the auto feature, but that doesn't really work all the time because it's trying to use a computer algorithm. What we can do is a smart feature. You use your finger to like draw around. You want to use your feature to subtract some of the background. You know, you can just go over it quickly, and it smartly detects the things that you're not trying to go over. So you just go over the color just like that. And so now you just have this PNG format. Do you see how it's a checkered background, right? That's now a PNG, like we can export this as a PNG now. So now that we have this, click on export. and we just save it to a camera or whatever. It'll take some time. Just give me a second. There we go. Now that's completed. We'll just go back to Adobe Sparks, and okay, we have 10 minutes left. Let's go back to Adobe Spark. I'll just use this as an example. We'll add the image that we just took the background away from, and we'll just add it here. And I think it's really nice for professional posters, or if you want to make a poster for a majalis or a Mawlid or event or anything, you know, it's for a milad, whatever. So you can just add it there, you know, put it in the background. You can reduce opacity so it slightly like goes into the background, so it kind of blends in. With the Arabic app called, I'll get to that in a bit. But anyways, I think that's most of the features that I've covered today. I don't think I wanted to go through a lot more, but you know, I had to go a bit slower. But inshallah, I think we'll try to have a different session, or if you guys want help, I'll show you my Instagram that you can follow. If there's any questions, actually, just quickly ask me now before I move on. On the chat, please, if you can. If Brother Mason, if you have anything to add as well.
Or if you raise hand, then we can unmute you so that one person is speaking at a time.
Yep. Again, obviously, I wanted to go into a lot more detail, and I know like a lot of you want a lot more stuff regarding the podcast and all that, but again, we're very short of time, as it's the whole time soon. Anyone? No? Any questions?
Yeah, inshallah, we will upload this session on MUS YouTube channel.
Yeah.
So.
Is there anything else? Thank you for sharing.
I shared a link for feedback form. Please do fill the form.
I did remove the background of the pic.
We'll spend next 10 minutes to answer any questions. Brother Jauhar, there are a few questions coming.
Yeah, please let me know if you have any questions. I'd really appreciate it. If you don't, you know, I'll just show you my Instagram, and you can just contact me there. So that was very useful. Flattered. I like the web. Circle. Okay, all good. Arabic text app name. Yeah, I'll show you guys that shortly. Don't worry. But if you have any burning questions about what I did so far, or if there's anything that you need help with, please do let me know now. Otherwise, I'll move on and I'll just show you the additional stuff. I'll send you the slides later on that I'm going to go through right now. But yeah, no questions. Okay, all good. I'll move on. Sure. Okay, yeah. So just before I go, these are some of the recommended fonts that the profession would recommend. These are just classic fonts that everyone uses in their designs, and you know, it's something that's timeless essentially, because you know they have a simple. It's been tried and tested. It's been used by everyone, so it's something I would highly recommend you use. So you know, the PT stands right there. Railway. Later over here, like I showed you earlier, that's a really important font. And the Playfair one, you can just find your ones. So those are called serif fonts. Serif fonts is, you know, slightly old stuff. That's the most basic way I can put it. So you try to use serif fonts just to add like a bit of a human element to it, you know, cursive writing and stuff like that. But for actual modern looking fonts, make sure if you want to take a screenshot of this, use these fonts in your posters, and inshallah it will look really nice. And so just the tools that we use today, they call Adobe Sparks, background eraser, and we use background eraser in Android as well. We use Photoshop Mix, and the Arabic app is called Ana Mukhtarif al-Khat. Why are you guys making me pronounce it again, man? But the name is right there, yeah. So if you want to see the icon and everything, just search on App Store. I think it's available on computer, Android, and App Store. And the other recommended app I would say is Canva. I wanted to touch upon that a little bit, but we won't have time today, obviously. But do take a look at Canva as well. You can sign up using your Google account, just like Adobe Sparks. And please do follow my Instagram. It's a shameless plug, but it's a little account I've created just to post graphic design related content. It's called Jauhar Designs. Hey,